Hello folks, let's forward again. Hope y'all are doing well today. So we're just going to dive straight into it. This is a 100% ranged Magsorc build, which means that you'll hit the same at 15 meters as you will at 0 meters, meaning that you can either be right up on top of the enemy or you can be 10 meters away. Doesn't matter, your DPS won't change. So, gear, Maelstrom, Inferno Staff of the Scaging Mage. Precise with a flame damage enchant. Maelstrom is infused, weapon damage enchant. We are actually running Maw of the Infernal. You want this to be light, and we want everything on the body to be divine with max mag enchants. The other option, and then the body pieces are going to be Sorcerer, again, divine with a max mag enchant. And there's your shoulder of the Maw of the Infernal. And Sorcerer's sash, gloves, breeches, shoes. The jewels, I know that I always say infuse if it's purple, and bloodthirsty only if it's gold. The reason these are bloodthirsty and not infused is because I have every edition of this being the next set of jewelry that I gold out, and I just didn't want to have to go through the trouble of pre-transmuting. So, if you're in a fight where you have to move a little bit more, because the thing about Sorcerer is that it's going to create a ring on the ground that we have to stand in that gives us 630 weapon and spell damage, that's fine. You just swap it out for War Maiden, good old tried, trusted, true War Maiden, which will just add 600 weapon and spell damage to your abilities, magic abilities overall, as well as a little bit more crit chance. But for the highest DPS and in a lot of trials, you're going to be able to get away with running Sorcerer. We have for our Mundus, we have the Thief for maximum crucible crit. All 64 points into Magicka. And for champion points, this is going to get bounced around a few times, but as a general rule, Wrathful Strikes, Deadly Aim, Master at Arms, and Backstabber on this build in particular, and you're not really going to go wrong. If you do end up running Heavy Weapons Expert, it's going to hit very similar. If you run Biting Aura, you're going to lose a little bit of DPS. Same with Thaumaturge. Sustain really isn't a whole big deal, so you're looking at Boundless Vitality, Fortified, Rejuvenation, and you can go with either Bastion, Siphoning Spells, Strategic Reserve, or anything over in the retro you want, but you want to make sure you get these top 3 outliers. Again, Boundless Vitality, Fortified, and Rejuvenation. And Craft Tree is whatever you want it to be. Now, before we go into the test, let's look at our skills. On our back bar, we have Blockade of Fire, not Unstable Wall of Elements, and it's at 15 seconds, and I'll explain why in a second. Then you have Lightweight Beast Trap, again, not Barb Trap. I'll explain why in a second on this one, although this is the range morph, so kind of obvious. Then you have Degeneration, which is a nice little range dot that we can throw on, and you have Fiery Rage in case you need to drop it. Front bar, you have Greater Storm Atronach, Crystal Frag, Elemental Weapon from the Psijic line, and the most important skill in this setup, Daedric Prey. Because this boosts all of our pet damage by 45%. Now, at points during the fight, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 pets out. Because, yes, Maw of the Infernal does count for a pet if you're a Magsorc. So, Daedric Prey is going to be very important to keep up. Now, I need to slot a different... I need to activate a different food. There's my Ghastly. As far as food goes, you can run either Ghastly Eyeball or Rich Mother's Potent Brew. I just used my last Ghastly. You want your you need spell potions on this one, spell pots. And the main reason why you are going to need spell pots is you are going to need the major sorcery that it gives you and the major prophecy, because since we're running 2 pets, we lose 2 slots on both bars. Now, advantage to this is that it does make the rotation remarkably simple. Remember what I said, this thing will hit 85, 90k at 15 meters, which means if you're fighting a boss here and you have a boss spawn up back over there, you can turn and burn that bugger. It's particularly useful in a trial like VAA, where you're burning main boss, other boss pops up. Oh dear, what are you going to do? Well, actually it's not the other bosses in VAA that would pop up, it would be the shades that you'd have to worry about. And this allows you to hit at range. So, that is generally the build overall. This test should take me about 4 minutes if you want to skip to the end for any other thoughts and ideas that I have on it. Remember, you were talking about one thing I will mention is that you can run Mother's Sorrow and War Maiden for about 82k. You can run Inferno Staff of the Scaging Mage and War Maiden for about 86k, because this Scathing Mage drops in Imperial City Prison, and when you deal direct damage, you have a 20% chance to increase your weapon or spell damage by 498 for 5 seconds. This is every 5 seconds. You're going to get this up about 80% of the time if you're light attack weaving. That is one thing about this build. This whole build, everything, when you deal damage with a lot of heavy attack, dealing damage with a lot of heavier attack, and Scathing Mage scales off direct damage. Well, guess what? Light attacks are direct damage. So this whole build is scaling around the idea that you are weaving in and out attacks. So if you run this, just remember that if you're not hitting as that high at first, like with everything else, as your light attack weaving in between each ability gets better, so will your DPS. It also is the reason why we have everything in light, because we are scraping up to get as much crit as we can. When we pop our potion, we are going to be sitting at 53% crit, give or take. Now that's without the target enemy buffs, but that's really and truly not bad overall. So, like I said, it'll take me about 4 minutes. Feel free to skip to the end if you wish. And in 3, 2, 1, we're going. Drop that Atro, and then proc that pet, hit that pet. You're only going to hit your bird, Childlike Tormentor, that's the word I'm looking for. You're only going to hit it once during a whole fight. You want it mainly up at the beginning just to take off that initial top portion of health. But after that, you're just going to leave it alone. Yeah, that's another thing I mentioned. If you saw me not quite land Barb Trap the way I wanted to, every once in a while, because the Magsorc has been nerfed so much over the years, and some of its abilities and skills have been nerfed a lot over the years, it can be a little bit on the wonky side when firing off abilities. Just keep rolling with it. Your rotation doesn't change for the entirety of a fight. You were literally hitting the same skills again and again and again. And thanks to wearing all light armor, you're not really going to have a sustain issue. Theoretically, you could run Bonsai's Mania with this and really jack your damage, but there's a problem with Bonsai. If you are having a resource management issue with Bonsai, you're not just losing damage, Bonsai's useless. I don't like Bonsai for that reason. I think that while on a target dummy, it is great in an actual fight, a trial or something like that. You need every ounce of resources you can get, and you can put up great numbers on a target dummy, but running it in an actual fight, I wouldn't do it. If I was looking to just hit high, sure, why not? Because in a target dummy, nobody's shooting back at you. You don't have to worry about all those other issues. In an actual fight, unless you're standing in a perfectly still place, you're going to have some serious resource management skills. And I'm more worried about, killing the enemy that's shooting at me than I am my resource management at the time. Don't get me wrong, I do pay attention to my resources, but there you go, 88,000. 3 minutes, 59 seconds. Not as high as some of the other builds I have made, but I pulled up. Crap. And now we gotta kill the pets. It's not as high as some of the other builds I have on my channel. I'm going to be putting up a Magplar video at some point within the next week, probably. That's hitting about 103 to 105. But the advantage this gives, and there are other builds out there that are going to hit much harder than this. I mean, you can get up to 120. Notice where they're all standing. They're all going to be standing right on top of the target dummy. This one, like I said, it will hit 90k, 85 to 90k from anywhere from 0 to 18 meters. That is how far away Wall of Elements reaches, and everything else has a range of 28 meters. So the only thing that's limiting your range is blockade of fire. That's it. So this is a great build to use in a place like the last boss on VAA, or some of the other trials where you need a lot of range DPS, where you're going to have to do a lot of target shifting and you need to stay in the same spot. Pretty much any content in the game where you need to shoot at one target and then shift your target, this will be good because it'll allow you to stay in the same place, and your healer will love you for that. And particularly trial guilds will also love you because standing in one spot really helps the healers in any trial. So anyways, hope you folks enjoyed the video, and y'all have a great day. Feel free to find me in game if you have any questions, or leave a comment below. And again, would appreciate it if you hit the like and subscribe button. I am trying to get myself to 20 followers by the end of the week. Well, not end of the week, but end of the month. Thank you, and you have a great day. Later.